back to my channel. Today is day 26 of Sewtember. You and I will embroider our zipper bags that we designed yesterday within IQ Designer. Let's get started. It is time for us to start embroidering our project. You'll notice that I have my 5x7 frame. Now, if you want to place larger pieces of fabric and batting within a larger hoop and stitch all of your designs within one hoop, you absolutely can do that. But in the tutorial, I'll be using my 5x7 frame. I've chosen an embroidery thread that coordinates with the fabric that I've chosen. I'll be using a pre-wound bobbin in my bobbin case as well. Here is my fabric. Now, if you are someone who loves to scrapbook, or maybe you love to create junk journals, you might absolutely love this fabric. It's a Tim Holtz Eclectic Elements Wildflower, and you'll notice that it has tons of beautiful roses within it. I think this is such a pretty fabric. I pulled it out of my stash, and today it will become a zipper bag that we've created together during Sewtember. I have 3 sets of fabric that I've cut out. Like I said, I'll be using my 5x7 frame. Now, if your fabric is directional and you're using your 5x7 frame, within the 5x7 frame, we'll need to rotate our design so that they'll fit within the frame, which means we'll want to position the design in a way that this would be the top of the fabric and this would be the bottom. Pieces to your project, they'll be embroidered sideways within your 5x7 frame. And when we get over to the machine, we'll rotate those designs together. But if you have a design, if you have a fabric that is directional, you'll need to make sure that you cut out your pieces accordingly. So if you'll notice, let me show you my sections first. So here's 2 pieces of fabric. Here's 2 more pieces of fabric that I've already cut. And here's my last 2 pieces of fabric. We'll have a back, we'll have a top front, and we'll have a bottom front. For this fabric, I'll create my top front. And whenever I place that within the frame itself, I'll stitch the design in this way so that I'll really be getting the most out of the rose pattern within that area. This one will be my front bottom piece. So when I hoop this fabric, you'll notice that I want to position it so once again I can get a lot of my roses and a few of the other types of elements that are within this fabric. And I also, since this is straight, want to be careful that I hoop it in a way that I don't allow these areas to be crooked. So I'll hoop it just like this. We'll see how much I embroidery upon once we create the bag. And this one will be the back. Now you'll notice on this one, this is in one direction. I can read these words in this direction. So they've really flipped around a lot of the motifs within this fabric, and that's okay. It looks very, very eclectic. What I'll be real careful about is to make sure these words that I'll be reading will be positioned within the hoop so they're straight and not crooked, if that makes sense. Now, another thing that I've done is I've placed a piece of batting between my quilt sandwich. So I have fabric on the bottom, that will be my lining. I have a thin layer of batting. I like to use 100% cotton batting and the thinnest batting that I can find. That's my preference. And here's my top fabric. And you'll notice that I've cut these pieces out so that I have enough to hoop within the frame. You always want to have at least about 1 inch that will extend outside all 4 edges to get great registration. Now that we've talked about our fabric, our thread, our frames, let's hoop up our back and we'll embroider that one first. I'll loosen my hoop and I'll place the base hoop at the bottom. And I'm really making use of some of my batting scraps as well. So you'll notice that my batting doesn't extend all the way out to the edges. I'm trying to be frugal and get rid of some of those batting scraps. I know that I have enough in the center of the fabric itself, so my little zipper bag will definitely have batting within it. Now position this so that this is nice and straight, because keep in mind we're going to rotate that design and this will be the top edge of my bag. I'm hooping it and keeping the fabric straight so my words will be nice and aligned. I'm gently tugging. You don't want to stretch your fabric. I'm just manipulating the fabric so I get the little bubbles out of it. And I haven't snugged up my frame just yet. That means there's no tension on the frame just yet. Now that I've positioned it, I'll snug up the screw on my embroidery frame. Let's head to our machines and embroider the back of our zipper bag. We'll select embroidery. We saved our designs in our memory pocket of our machine, so we'll select the memory pocket. You may have yours on a flash drive, so bring these designs into your machine from your flash drive if that's the option for your machine. But mine is in the memory pocket. I'll select my back and set it. And you'll notice that the design is wider than 5x7. And I know that because I have that embroidery field on the back area of my workspace. And that I've applied. When we go to page 8, at the top you'll notice it says embroidery frame display, and I have 5x7 selected. You'll notice that it extends to the right and to the left. It'll be important that we rotate this design. We'll select edit and rotate, and I'll rotate it 90 degrees to the left. And that places the design in the center of my 5x7 hoop. We'll select embroidery. Next, we'll embroider the back of our bag. I'll remove my frame from the hoop and remove my back from the hoop, set it aside, and hoop our next quilt sandwich for the top front of our bag. We'll select embroidery, back to our memory pocket, and let's select our front top. Once again, we'll need to rotate it. It's time for us to remove this from the machine, remove it from the hoop, and hoop our last quilt sandwich for the front bottom of our zipper bag. We're selecting our front bottom section of our bag now. We'll rotate it just like we have our other two pieces. Now it's time to embroider. Our top front, our top bottom, and our back are all embroidered. Now, if you notice, because I've chosen a thread that just really coordinated, the quilting pretty much hides in this fabric. My fabric's a busy fabric, and I really didn't want my quilting motif to pop off of the fabric. I want my fabric to be the showcase of this little zipper bag. Depending on the fabrics that you've chosen and the thread colors that you're stitching in, that will decide whether you'll see your quilting motif a little more pronounced or whether it hides in the background of your fabric like mine does. Thanks for watching. Show me your sew and hashtag Sewtember on Instagram. Join my Facebook group and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this tutorial, click the like button below. I really appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow for day 27.